This is the Talk About Fight Club podcast. So, I am your host. My name is Maverick, and you are,
My name's Jesse.
and you are.
And it's your boy DJ.
You
I didn't
already
come up with a
know.
nickname.
You got to come up with a
You
nickname.
didn't tell me
bro.
I needed to come up with
You
a
got to
nickname
have a
for
nickname,
this.
bro. So, episode 1, you Jesse. But episode 2, you got to be something else.
If this one sucks, I'm just going to change my name, not even tell nobody it was me on the first one.
Is he a doppelganger?
Yeah. You're like, that voice sounds similar to the guy that was on the first episode. Like, nah, that wasn't him.
So we are here. This is a combat sports related podcast. We're talking about MMA. We're talking about boxing. We're talking about street fights, like anything combat with the hands, the feet, the elbows, headbutts, whatever. This is what we're here about. We want to talk about getting your shit off when it comes to fighting. So my first question, and I told Jesse about this, and I just want to hear what you guys' opinion is. I always ask everybody when we talk about fighting, depending on what combat sports we talk about, who's like your Mount Rushmore. So if we're talking MMA, like my Mount Rushmore, well, it's a little difficult because I break it down into 2 categories.
Yeah.
I have the ones I found the most entertaining, and then I have the ones that I think skill-wise are like the it.
I break it down the same way. Like
Yeah.
people who have had the most effect on the sport in general, and then people who are technically the best in the sport. You
Right.
know?
Right. So for me, like if I wanted to go like who's the most entertaining, I gotta go like Conor McGregor,
I think that's easy, yeah.
Sean O'Malley,
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
say MMA wise, no, I take that back. Scratch Michael Chandler, Michael Venom Page.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good deep pick. I
Yeah.
like that.
So
Yeah.
that's my entertaining. They're the most entertaining fighters. If I want to talk about pure skill, in my opinion, John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, and who? And this is actually kind of tough. I want to say Khabib,
Nah.
but
I'd put him up there. In terms of skill wise, like I don't think we've seen that level of dominance over top level opponents. Like you could say what you want about his resume and length
Right.
of career. Like he didn't have the length of career, but in terms of who he fought, everyone who he fought is still one of the best in the sport. You know what I mean? And he made them look silly. Like
Okay.
no one had anything for Khabib at his peak. You know what I mean? And he
Right.
left on top. Like you can't say that really about anybody else except for GSP.
right.
John Jones, maybe, but he was declining in his last few fights. And I don't
True.
think we'll see him fight again personally.
Well, I mean, they're still trying to get the whole, Ngannou /
Gano.
Stipe /
Actually,
Curtis Blades. Now they're saying
don't
he might
think
fight
he-
Curtis Blades.
Yeah, they said that something happened to Steve. I didn't look into it, but they said the next contender to fight him would be Curtis Blades.
Yeah, see, and my thing
I think
is,
that'd be an
That's
interesting
a good
fight.
test. That's a good test
it
for
is
my
a good
heavyweight.
test.
fight,
It is a
yeah.
good test. It is a good test. I
Yeah.
think Stipe is too easy of a fight for him
Think so?
because I don't think
Why?
Stipe's grappling is on point,
But
and I
Can agree
think
with
John
that.
Jones, because he's such a smart fighter.
I think he's too fast for Stipe.
Yeah, I think John Jones is gonna
But that-
go. He's gonna get out of the way of his hands. He's gonna take Stipe down.
at this weight, you think he's too fast for him? Nah.
We haven't really seen John Jones at heavyweight, so that's a good question, actually.
I think we'd be
Is he going to
slower.
retain speed? Stipe is a smart fighter. Like the reason
is.
why Stipe has been so successful is not because he's the biggest guy, he's the strongest guy, he's the most powerful guy. But he fights very intelligently. Like he's not going to let no one's running through Stipe except for Francis Ngannou, and that I feel like anyone can watch his fights and label him an outlier in terms of what people can do. Like there's not many people who are just absolute monsters like Francis Ngannou. You know what I mean?
Like he's.
I put him up against anybody in the world.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
quite
He has the
honestly.
hardest punch in the world. He has a
Like-
Guinness Book of World Records.
He could sleep anybody on any given day. You know,
I've wanted to see him fight Deontay Wilder.
that would be interesting. I think
Francis?
Wilder takes that.
Yes.
Honestly, in boxing, in MMA,
I'm
I
just
think
talking
that's
about
tougher.
think about it. Deontay Wilder's the hardest puncher in boxing, and Ngannou's the hardest puncher in MMA.
And look,
That would make so much money.
look. I think it would be an interesting fight, but then again, this is boxing. Francis is not a boxer. He's going to get like, and Deontay's not even that skilled either. Like,
But that's
a lot
why I
of
said it would be a
heavyweights
good
aren't skilled.
fight. Think about just two maulers, two powerful maulers. Just
I'd watch
going
it
at,
for sure.
That's just two crazy barbarians
fun.
going at it, bro.
It'd be a fun fight.
But Deontay's just going to snipe him down the middle, bro.
I mean, I'll give you that because I think Deontay
He's
can.
more skilled than this.
Yeah, I
He's
think
gonna just
Deontay can
snipe
knock
him.
anyone
Like,
out.
y'all seen Francis highlights? A lot of them, he before now, he was just swinging wide.
Yeah.
And hoping one connects. You
Yeah.
can't do that in boxing. You're going
That's
to get
true.
caught and get slept.
That's true.
But
And you gotta do
Deontay has had those moments.
That's understandable. But how many rounds is there in boxing? How many rounds is Francis going to do this for?
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
true.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to do that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Deontay just like he knows what his weapon is, right? And he's the entire fight. I think people underrate how skilled he is because he is so one-dimensional, right? He's got a bomb of a right hand, but I think he's one-dimensional on purpose because he doesn't need anything else. So he waits the entire fight to set up that right hand.
Okay.
That's because that's all he needs, right?
Which
so
is
it's
true. Like, what does he say? You have to be perfect for what? 25, 30 minutes? I
Yeah.
have to be perfect for 25 seconds or 20 seconds.
because he just needs one, So I think people underrate how skilled he is because they say, "Oh, all he's got is the right hand." Well, if all he needs is the right hand, why wouldn't he center his entire game around the right hand?
because of people like Tyson Fury.
And Tyson Fury is just a different beast.
I'm about to say Tyson
Like-
Fury is 6'9", 270 pounds, bro.
Yep.
Like Tyson Fury
And he's a boxer. He's not even like
Yeah.
a slugger. He's not like a big guy that uses his size because he's so powerful. Like he's a giant that
Yeah.
can box, and it's freaky to watch.
Okay.
So wait, I didn't get any of you guys Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I need
DJ,
to know.
you can go
like,
first.
yeah. Oh,
It's a-
I knew who my fourth person was in the my skill wise. Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
That's
that.
a good pick.
Yeah.
I'll go with that for the little guy. I like
Yeah.
that. But entertaining, I mean, I like Sanchez, bro.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
undefeated.
Yeah.
And he's like, look what he's doing against people that's way bigger than him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And he's having fun dancing around.
He's
doing
what,
what he wants.
45, something like that.
Like look what he's doing. And he's knocking them down in like
Right.
the smoothest fashion.
Yep.
He's doing, what's that move? They said that's his. It's like a handstand, but you kick
Cartwheel
them.
kick.
Yeah, you never seen nobody else do that before. And he's doing that efficiently. Like it's like a move, like a go-to move for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he's one of the top guys for me. I like Sean O'Malley because his swagger, like his
Yeah, he has a lot of charisma.
yeah, like he has
Lot
the
of charisma.
package in there,
Yeah.
like
Just to make a point on that real quick.
yeah.
I think the common thread with all these like really skilled, really top fighters is like being relaxed. They're all
Yeah.
having fun. They're all styling. Like they're not tight. They're not just like it's, Sean O'Malley's trying to stun on you. Sanchez trying to stun
Yep.
on you. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they're having fun in there.
Yeah.
But continue.
No, you're good. Michael Venom Page for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like he before they started nerfing his dance acts and emotes he was doing.
Yeah, that was what Dan Mergliotta being a excuse my language, a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like, come on, but this is the entertainment. It's still entertainment.
Yeah.
Like
He earned it, man.
if,
Like if you're knocking
anybody
somebody
does,
out
yeah.
with 360 spinning kicks, you can roll a fucking pokeball at him, bro.
Yeah,
come
like-
on.
For sure. Even mid fight, he's doing emotes,
Yeah.
baiting you in. Like
Yeah.
he's been doing that even in kickboxing. So like I don't feel like they know who he is once you sign
Right.
him. Like you know what he's doing.
Like, remember when Kevin Holland, I don't know if it was a Contender Series or I forgot which one it was, if it was The Ultimate Fighter, but I think the referee said to Kevin Holland, hey, you stop
Yeah,
talking
stop
so much.
talking.
And he
Yep.
was like, I'm sorry, this is the way I fight, bro.
Why the
Yeah.
fuck can't you talk?
Yeah,
Like-
like why can't I talk to him?
He's
What's-
fighting.
annoying you.
What's
He
this
can
guy's
talk.
name?
He can talk.
Sean Strickland talks shit the
Constantly.
whole fight.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland, come on. And I'm like, but you can't sit there and like you said, throw a Pokeball. I can't make a joke.
That's at the end though. Like I won already. I could do what I want.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I can get the Infinity going if I want.
And you know
Right?
what? People
I knock
watch
it
it.
out. Like
Facts.
We all know
Um,
it because of that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
And on top of
He's
that,
doing his thing.
if I'm a fighter, I remember the one thing that, and I remember the fight when it happened with Michael Page. He's on the ground with him. He's ground and pounding the hell out of this guy.
yeah.
He stops. He looks at his hand, makes a joke,
mm-hmm.
and he wants to throw another punch. Now, my thing is this, Dan, you're telling him to stop because, it's unsportsmanlike. First of all, this guy decides that okay, he stopped punching me. You laid there while he paused to look at his hand.
That's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And ref, you want to sit there and tell him that, oh, he can't do that because it's embarrassing? No, getting your ass kicked is embarrassing.
Don't get embarrassed.
I just don't agree with that. Like, you can't stop a fighter from what he's doing, because that's like momentum. You know what I mean? Like, he's in the flow. He's in his groove. Like, you stop somebody from doing what they're doing. Now, who's to say that the events don't turn because of that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Because now he's thinking like, oh, I got to tone it down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It changes the way you.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, Venom Pace. It's another UFC fighter. He was in UFC. I don't know if he like left, but I think his name was Michael P. something. Like, he used to do capoeira. He used to jump off the cage. And
Michelle
all that.
Pereira.
Yeah. He was cool too.
Yeah.
He was cool too. Like, you talking about entertaining? Yeah, he was definitely entertaining.
Definitely, 100%.
Off the cage, backflip. Yeah, all that. Fifth would be it's hard. Like, I can't just do 5, but like.
Well, I mean, you only gotta do 4. Mount Rushmore is only 4. So like, like I said, I broke it down into like an A and a B section.
Okay.
So like, for me, like I said, entertaining, just fun to watch, win or lose. Like, that's why I say Gaethje, Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor. Like, these are just fun people to watch. But then you have people who are like, have just skill. Like, they barely do anything wrong in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, skill.
So
you got yours?
Yeah. So I'm going to go a little bit old school with this one. So for the first 4 in terms of technical skill wise, and I would put my number 1 in both categories for entertainment and technique. And that's Fedor Emelianenko.
Oh, I forgot about the Emperor.
The first ever complete MMA fighter. Like, before anyone else was doing it, he was doing submissions. He was doing boxing, kickboxing, judo. Like, he was the first, and in my opinion, still the best. Like, he just knocked out a dude 10 years younger than him. Like, 3 months ago, like, who was bigger than him. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
He's only lost like a couple fights in the last like 10 years, and he went undefeated. I want to say like,
well, I think Bader knocked him out in the that Grand Prix.
Yeah, Bader did knock him out, but that's the only fight he lost. And he had 102 fever coming into that fight.
Get out of town.
Yeah. So, but since then, like, his body's still shot, but he's still got it, man. But if you look at his old highlights, like, there's no one that could do what he was doing at that time. And honestly, if you take him from then and put him in now, I think he competes with most heavyweights, even still.
Okay.
So I would put Fedor in my number 1, both categories. In terms of pure technique wise, I think my number 2 would have to be GSP. Just because he, like we're saying, like, technically perfect, like, he didn't really do anything wrong. But at the same time, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite fighters because he didn't take a lot of chances. He won a lot of fights kind of by numbers and not necessarily by like dominance, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Number 3, I would put technique wise. I like John Jones a lot. John Jones did things that, people had never really seen up until that point. But I do think that his career is sullied a little bit by steroid use, but I don't count that too much just because everyone's doing it and he got caught.
Jesus.
But
sorry.
I think so much of his game relies on the threat of the eye poke that it kind of puts a little bit of a stain on his wins for me, because like he won so many fights by just the fact that he's so long and he puts his fingers right in front of your eyes so you can't come forward onto him.
Right.
But I do think, like, when he was on his come up, like, no one was doing things like he was doing. He invented a lot of techniques that people still use this day, like,
I mean, he was one of the only people I've really seen use an oblique kick.
Oblique kicks.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone do that.
Great.
Yeah,
for sure.
Number 4, technique wise. That's tough, man. I mean, Khabib.
Oh, geez. Like, look at this guy. He's huge.
Fedor is just unreal, man.
Yo, that guy is fucking huge.
Fedor is
unreal. I mean, it's a tank.
But yeah, I got to put Khabib up there just for and we were talking about this before, just the dominance and the level of opponents that he faced. And he dominated guys like Dustin Poirier has never been dominated like that. Still hasn't been.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, he's been knocked out before, but he's never been like what he said when he got back to his corner after the first round. Like, I still remember it because he just goes back and he sits on a stool and he puts his head down and he goes, man, I can't get this fucking guy off of me. Like, he could just not get him off of him. Like, Khabib fought with no fear, like, no hesitation. Like, he just knew going in there that he was going to destroy you. Now, so that's my top 4: Fedor, GSP, John Jones, Khabib. technique wise. Now, in
Nice.
terms of entertainment wise, Fedor is still my number one on there. But
Entertainment? What? Well, I mean, watching these highlights right now, like I
Yeah.
can see why.
Yeah.
'Cause
Charles
look,
Oliveira,
he cracked, dude. He could have kept hitting him, and look, he goes for the choke. Look at
he was
that.
doing stuff nobody ever did, you know, up until that point. Like you had boxers, you had kickboxers, but he
Right.
came in, and that's Sambo, you know, that's the stuff
Yeah.
that was still winning fights.
Yeah.
And he would get rocked. Like he got dropped on his neck by Kevin Randleman and
that
armbarred him
was
within
nasty.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
he
that was
armbarred him
nasty.
30 seconds. Everyone's seen that highlight. No one sees that he got right back from that, took
Yep.
top position, armbarred him. But yeah, Fedor, Charles Oliveira, I think has been underrated by
Wow,
his
you're
last
right.
loss.
You're right.
But I remember watching that kid on his, now I say kid, I'm younger than him, but he got into the UFC when he was like 19, you know, and he was
Oh, I
like
know who you're talking about.
a
Yeah.
jujitsu like god, man. And then when he got his striking together, like he was hitting dudes with up elbows. His Muay Thai is amazing, and the reason why he's able to use Muay Thai so successfully in MMA and use that very upright stance is because he's not afraid to get taken down.
Mm.
Like, because that's the weakness of the Muay Thai stance. Like, as someone who comes from Muay Thai, like, I'm weak to takedowns because I stand so narrow and I use a lot of front kicks and I use a lot of kicks, which are harder to use when your stance is spread out.
Right.
But if you don't care if someone takes you down, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like his knees, his elbows, his teeps are flawless. Like his stand up is a lot better than people give him credit for.
Okay.
As a sidebar, ladies and gentlemen, so as Jesse said, he has a Muay Thai background. Oh my gosh, my phone went off in the middle of my podcast. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta edit that out.
Definitely got to edit that out.
Put up a edit,
Right? But Jesse has a Muay Thai background. How many years in Muay Thai?
One. It's not a ton, but you know, I
It's
had
enough.
one amateur fight. You know, like
Okay.
I've trained with some good guys.
Okay.
Like I don't pretend to be great at anything, but I've been a huge fan of the sport for a long time.
Gotcha. And then
feel like I know
DJ
it fairly
has
well.
a boxing background, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Like half a summer.
So a half a summer got to where you are now. That's fucking nuts.
I mean, but like it was a rough summer, especially doing something I wasn't used to doing.
Mhm.
So new experiences, traveling all the way to the Bronx to what the gym was called, Morris Park Boxing Gym. So that's where it was. Very good guys. They're very good trainers there. I don't think they even remember me, but yeah, I still got the footage. I was little. I was
mean,
like
if
13.
if they saw your recent footage, they probably remember you.
They'd be proud, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
But
I'm telling you, bro. I wish you were there today. I really wish you were. Like, I had to literally tell him. I'm watching him and Anthony go at it. Shout outs to my boy Anthony. I'm watching it, and it's like it was literally like watching a video game, like legit. And I'm just watching his jab. Like, you ever seen Fei Long in Street Fighter, and he hits you with the wah, wah. But it was like watching him do that. Like the jab was pumping like a piston, bro. Like, I'm like, what the hell am I watching right now? This shit was unreal.
That's something that's really, with that dominant hand forward style, is really effective.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
Yeah.
having a strong jab is
I'll say that.
yeah.
Like,
I agree with
I the funny thing is, when I did take a boxing class or two, it felt better to have my dominant hand forward. It felt better. And I guess it felt better because and even I think Jeff Chan is one of our teachers. Shout out to Jeff Chan at MMA Shredded. Check him out. He was saying I've never been as accurate or as fast with my jab compared to when I had it in front.
Yeah.
To say all that, once again, going back to certain philosophies of like the art that we study, it all depends on how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
What works for you.
It
You
depends
know?
on what you want to center your game around. Like we were talking about how Deontay Wilder revolves his entire game about landing the power right hand. You know, like everything he does is to set up the power right hand. You can do the same thing with your jab. Like if you revolve your game around setting up your jab and landing your jab, everything else will open up for you. You know, it's about really how you want to tailor your strategy. It's not just about like throwing stuff and landing it. It's like, okay, if I can land my jab 5 times in a row, then when I fake that jab, he's going to react to it and he's going to slip right into a head kick. You know what I mean? Like I can fake the jab, land the, you know, it's all about gauging those reactions. And if you have a good jab, everything else opens up, you know, because as soon as you move that front hand, they're going to react. And then that gives you an opening to land the power shot, you know?
Right. I mean,
fake
look
the
at
jab,
what
come to the hook, you
what's
know?
his name? Devin Haney did to Cambosis.
Okay.
He jabbed the life
Jabbed the
out
shit
of
out
that
of
boy.
Jab heavy, for sure.
He jabbed the life out of that boy. Like, and I think he did it in both fights, didn't he? Just jabbed the heck out of him. Because I personally thought that I'm not trying to hate on Kambosos, but like you heard about what happened to Teofimo Lopez. The doctor basically said, he would have died if he would have continued. Like he was like really bad, something where he had like a split esophagus.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so because when I saw him fight Kambosos, I'm like, this don't look like Lopez. This don't look like the Lopez I've seen. You know what I mean? And it got to a point for me where I'm just like, okay, is Kambosos really that good?
Oh, man. I got a question. So when we talk about entertaining fighters of all time, right? Or on our list, can we go to boxing as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I don't want to take nobody off, but Lomachenko, man.
He's unreal.
That man is goes
crazy.
To both A and B, entertaining and one of the best strikers. Like
crazy.
Can't miss, man.
Crazy.
The way he just moves around. Like
crazy.
And like this might just be biased, but that's how I feel about Asifu Ted. Like he doesn't move like him, but it's like, bro, like he's just everywhere. Left, right, in the middle, back.
Right. Even when he's moving slow.
Yeah.
Like even when he's moving slow, it's like, how did you get over here?
There's certain athletes like that you look at them and it's like watching two guys at a different difficulty of the game. It's like one guy's playing on easy mode and one guy's playing on hard,
Right.
It's like as a Baltimore Ravens fan, just to take the football real quick, like when Lamar Jackson plays football, it's like he's moving at a different speed than everybody on the field.
Okay.
Like say what you want about him, but like the dude can run his ass off.
The boy,
when he starts running, like everyone else who is fast as fuck compared to everybody else on the field can't touch him. And that's how Lomachenko is in boxing. It's like, oh, you're good, you're one of the best in the world, and then this dude comes in and he's just there's another level to it, that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like he makes people quit on the stool because they just say,
they can't do
what
it.
do I do?
They can't.
What do I do?
Who was it? He was fighting and he was talking to the guy's corner like, yo, bro, just stop it.
It's funny. I just seen that clip too.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, look what I'm doing to your fighter.
Yeah.
Why are you letting me do this to your fighter? He's not better than me.
But I like him though. Like that's the humanity part of him. It's not just about kill.
Exactly.
Like he likes he sees the health risk of another fighter. Like why just give him extra severe brain damage? Like we can stop this fight
for
right
no
now.
reason. Like
we know how this movie ends.
Right.
Let's
We've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Like it's very strange because as I've become, I don't want to say a fighter because I don't fight per se, but as a person who spars, a person who takes time out, like just that's like we talked about today. Like we're starting to notice, okay, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, someone who's been hit in the face, like I just put it like that because the vast majority of people have never really been socked in the face,
right?
If you've been through that and you know how that feels, you're on a different level than your average person. Like 99.9% of the people will never put on their gloves, put in their mouth guard, and face another person. In the ring, in the gym, regardless. Like the vast majority of people, even at the gym. Like I come in for the sparring class at 7:00 on Fridays, and the class before is finishing up. He's like, "All right, everyone that's staying to spar, get your gear on," and everybody walks out the door.
Yeah,
and there's 20 people in the class, and there's 8 people sparring. Like even the people that train, like the majority of them are not going to spar. So if you know how to take a punch, if you've been in there before and you've hit somebody and you've been hit, you're already like you might not be a pro fighter. But there's a middle ground between that and your average person that most people will never get to.
Right. Takes heart.
Yeah.
It takes hard to get in that ring, man.
It's a certain type of person, man.
Yeah.
Like I take it back to like throughout history, just to be a bit of a nerd here real quick. Like throughout history, there's always been a certain class of people that fight, right?
Right.
And only in recent years has fighting evolved to the point where it doesn't necessarily take a fighter to fight. Like you could pilot a drone, you could fly a plane.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to fight like hand to hand or even in the trenches. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you never have to see your enemy face to face. But that's only in the past 100 years that's really happened. So we have this entire class of people who I think everyone that puts on the gloves and steps into the ring or steps into the gym and to spar is a part of. We're those people that fought. In the past, like that's where our ancestors, I don't want to get too wiggity with it, but like we're descended from the ones that survived, you know, like at some point, like your ancestors fought and they survived and they were able to reproduce, which led to you know, so like there's a certain, you know, percentage of the population who were descended for fighters and we need to do it.
Right.
Like we need to do it. Like if we weren't fighting here, we'd be fighting, you know, in the street. Like you could see even like UFC fighters who like, they need to do this because if not, they would ruin their fucking lives.
Yeah.
You know, like guys like Jorge Masvidal, for example, he was fighting on Kimbo Slice's like underground bare knuckle shit back when he was 17. Like that's not because he was making money. It's because he needed to fight.
He needed an outlet. He needed to get that out. Right.
Not to cut you off, but that's the same thing with Dustin Poirier. He was like that too.
Oh, was he?
Said, said he was like that in his upbringing.
And you can see that in the way he fights, man.
He said he was just a scrapper. He just wanted to fight. I forgot where I seen this.
I didn't even know that about him.
Yeah, I mean during quarantine,
I saw it too, but I have
during quarantine a whole lot of videos pop up. That's how I actually found out about a lot of fighters' backgrounds and where they come from and who they are and why they are the way they are now. Right. Like Jorge Masvidal, he was on Kimbo Slice.
Yep.
Thing. Yeah, he was there.
Yep.
He that man could scrap,
bro. He that last scrap he had. Like I think it's the one where he fought that dude twice. That dude was like 3 times his size.
He was 17 when he fought that dude.
That guy was huge.
That boy could fight. Yeah. But yeah, like
fighters are born, man. Like you got to learn technique, you know, and you got to have the heart in you. But like at a certain, like there's people that can do it and there's people that can't, you know. And if you're one of the people that's doing it, you're already one of the people that can. If that makes any sense.
That makes sense for sure.
Like because most people will never even think about like, oh, like I'd like to try that. Like if you're already thinking like, oh, I want to do that, and you're already on another level. Like most dudes think they can fight, but most people will never challenge themselves because they know deep down that they can't. Right. You know, like as like I weigh 135 pounds, like, but I thought I could fight. And I wanted to test myself and see if I could. And turns out, I mean, it took a lot of ass beatings, but like I could fight. You know, like anyone that sparred with me knows, like I can fight. Like
yes, I can 100% attest to that.
Okay. Yeah.
I can 100%.
And back to what he said, the statement, I think this said something around like 90 or 95% of people who think they can fight, like think they can fight, but they really can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a small percentage of people that like train like we do.
Right.
And actually take the time and apply it to actually know how to fight.
Right.
Like even the moves we do in pad work doesn't mean it's going to work in the street. I mean, that's
absolutely right.
But that's a false projection. People, they think, okay, I do this. I was going to work in the street. I'm just going to 1-2 and rear leg hook kick and it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
There's adrenaline, like kills so much. Like, so I had one fight, amateur fight down in DC. I was part of this event that one of the coaches in the area.
You got a lot of stuff going on
everybody
in DC,
together.
Bro.
Yeah, man.
Like every 2 seconds, it's like, yo, this happened in DC. I'm about to go down there, bro.
There's a good community for combat sports down there, and so I honestly I was scared shitless. Like I didn't know who I was fighting the day before. So I showed up. I didn't know who I was fighting at the event, and I saw this dude who looked about my size from across the room. Like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. You know. And so we step into the ring and like I immediately forgot everything that I knew. Like everything. I opened up with a front kick, 1-2. And then after that, I was like, oh shit. So he clipped me like I missed the kick.
My leg was in the pads.
Yeah.
It's nothing like the heavy bag.
I was exhausted after 30 seconds. I missed a kick. Like, and while my leg was in the air, like I was trying to reset, he hit me with I believe it was a right hand. And he didn't really drop me, but if you look at it, like, you know, I'll give him that. Like he knocked
is that
me down.
online? Do you have that on? Is that on YouTube?
I have a video. It's not on YouTube, but I can show you the video.
I was about to say, oh man, I'm putting that in the bottom right hand corner when I finish editing.
I'll show you. Yeah, I can send it to you even.
Okay.
But he got me, and then as I my butt never hit the ground. It was like when Khabib dropped Conor. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like he hit him, but like he was still lucid.
Yeah, he was stunned.
And I got it from that, and I was like, all right, okay. He's not going to knock me out, because that's the fear that you have when you go in there. It's like, does this guy have power to knock me out? Then I realized in that moment, like that was his best shot. It didn't knock me out. I'm good. And I pieced him up for like 2.5 rounds after that.
You got your confidence back.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
Takes you to be
and it's funny because one of our classmates who does come to Friday sparring, my boy Alex, I remember when he came to me and was just like, yo, bro, I know you just went to sparring. Like, what is it like? Like, because I'm not gonna lie, the only sparring I've ever really done was Shotokan karate, and that's point fighting.
It's a way different style.
Yeah, it's way different.
Way different.
Especially when you're young, you're not allowed to hit to the head. You're not allowed to hit to the leg,
which I think is good for the record.
Yeah.
Don't give your children a CTE.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely. And you were only allowed to hit to the stomach and chest. That was it.
Yeah.
So you had to work your way in, get a kick in, and things like that. So I've never like sparred. I've never got kicked in the leg. I've never, I've wrestled a bit. I think there was certain things I didn't experience. I took classes, but I didn't spar. So I get there, I spar. I got caught with some shots, got kicked here and there. I'm like, okay, that's it.
But you leave feeling like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. And then you think about it from the perspective of, okay, even if I got hit harder than that, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm
not dead.
I'm not dead.
I could do this.
And for those that's looking to spar, just go light first time.
Just go light. Yeah.
Don't go in like this is a life or death situation.
Yes.
It's gonna ruin your judgment on sparring after that. Like I had my first sparring was outside the school. Me and my friend, we hard sparred, and it was like, I'm not gonna say it didn't teach us anything, but like everything after that day became like, okay, this is normal. Like we already did all this. So when we go light, we're like, okay, it's like a half a day. Okay, this is cool.
Yep.
So just go light.
Relaxed,
Yeah.
Being able to be relaxed is so huge because like your brain doesn't know the difference between a real fight and sparring at first. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like you have the same adrenaline as if someone was trying to kick your ass on the street. Like, and you just got to get past that, kind of suppress it and be like, all right, I can just try to land one thing. Like, cause even if you get your ass, politely worked in the first time you spar, like if you landed a good right hand, you landed a good kick, just hold on to that, and be like, at least I can land that, get good at that and then move on to the next thing.
For sure.
For the longest time when I first started sparring, for like the first 2 months, like all I could land was my teep, my front kick. Because I just got long ass legs. And for some reason, like that was the one shot that I could time properly. And then I just built everything off of that. I was like, all right, I can teep you.
That's good.
Then I can fake it. And then you'll react to that. Then I can hit you with the right hand. Then you're going to come at me because you don't want me to front kick you again. That's when I throw the left hook. Like it builds off of each other. Don't try to go in there doing everything at once, because you're going to lose your passion if you just think you suck, and we all sucked at first.
Yeah, and sometimes you need a helping experience because, like I said, you learn on the pads and you think you can actually fight somebody like that, but when it gets to actually having to move around with somebody that knows how to move and that's going to move with you and throw punches back, you want to start thinking like, why isn't this working? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like when you start sparring, go light. Actually work on some things so you can practice it, so you can see if it works or what doesn't. So when you lead to hard sparring, then you're gonna be some of the things gonna look familiar for you.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the distance is so different. Like when you're hitting pads, when you're hitting a bag, like it's right, it's there. Your pad holder is gonna bring that pad to your hand, so you're not just swinging wild. But no one's just gonna stand in front of you and let you hit them. And if they do, you might want to be scared of that person because they're gonna be hitting you back. You know what I mean? Like, But yeah, just the distance is just so much different, like in a live situation. Like that's the hardest part to get used to when you first start sparring. It's like, oh, like I have to get to this person.
Yeah.
Like they're not just going to be here for me to hit them.
And you know what else I found was kind of difficult? My first times around was going to get somebody that's way better than you. Like our teachers, for instance, like it takes it out of you. Like you think, it
almost takes the fight completely out of you because you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to stop this guy.
Not even. It's just like things that we train and do all the time. It was not working. So I'm like, what kind of fighter am I then? Like, I'm thinking I'm just this. It's gonna land every single time because we work it over and over and over again. And when you work with somebody that's better than you at the time, like speed, power, move, agility, head movement, and you don't land, it's like it puts a forced judgment in your mind, like you suck.
Yeah,
right.
In a way, it feel like that,
Yeah,
and you don't. It's just you're working with somebody that's better than you.
Right.
Yeah. Like my first time moving with Sifu James or Sifu Ted or Sifu Jeff Chen, for instance, they can move. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna land everything I want. Because I'm very jab heavy and I'm thinking I'm just gonna land everything I want. And you get, occasionally 1 or 2 shots off.
Right.
But after a while they start figuring you out because they have fight experience, more experienced than
And
you.
they trained you.
Yeah,
you
you know?
they know
They
how
already
you
know how
they
you
know how you
move.
move.
Yeah.
They know. So it's a lot. So just go light your first time, man. Just have fun with it. It's not an actual fight. It's not
not a
you
fight.
versus your
It is not
opponent.
a
It's
fight.
you versus your comrade, your friend, your partner. You know, you're supposed to be
That's why they're
learning
called
together.
partners, yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be learning together and growing together, not killing each other, giving brain damage to each other. That's not what this is for. Because everybody wants to learn at the same time.
Yep. Everyone's getting
note,
better, man.
On that note, we're gonna take a quick commercial break because I'm thirsty, and we will be right back. Here's a word from my sponsor.
Marcielago, man. Smoking on that hood gelato, man. I done the master, good following. Don't play with me, I got a solid plan. Caught me a stove, put my chicken on it. Couple bags to spend, but I ain't tricking on it. Heard your bitches want me, tell her, cop me a zip. Sorry, I ain't that affectionate. Jig with a guru, niggas.
Shout out to all my family at SFE Entertainment, Smooth Family. They are the ones that help bring this podcast to life. So shout out to SFE. I didn't need to get to do any shout outs earlier, but shout out to the Academy, New York Martial Arts Academy, all my people over there. Sifu James, Sifu Jeff, Sifu Eric, all the Sifu. Love you. Sifu Carlos.
Ted. Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes. Wow, I just realized, he definitely looks like Frank Dukes.
When I first signed up, I called him Frank Dukes. Off rip.
Wow, he definitely looks like Van Damme from Bloodsport.
Bro, that movie made
Wow.
like those movies, man, are such an influence, especially to like this generation. I feel like really loving martial arts, man.
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Absolutely.
Especially what's the name of the one where he goes where his brother gets beat in Thailand?
Kickboxer?
Kickboxer.
Yeah, Kickboxer.
Yeah.
I've never seen it though.
It's a
Kickboxer
lovely movie,
was
man.
crazy. So the one scene,
It's not a good movie, but it's a great
I thought
movie.
it was corny.
That makes sense. It's corny as shit.
It's like, I mean, if you think about most of Van Damme's movies, with the exception of 2 or 3 of them, most of them are kind of corny.
None of them are good, but they're great.
But all you really want to do is just see him throw kicks. That's why we're here. We want to see Van Damme throw kicks.
Because he just beat him out the blue. Like he just got the talent all of a sudden and just beat him in his own game. Like
He trained with like there was the storyline was his brother got like slept by or paralyzed by a Muay Thai guy because he was using
Your man
elbows
Tong
and shit. He's
Po.
like, oh shit, they're
Laptop.
using elbows.
What?
the laptop.
Oh shit.
But what we were talking about before we went to break is getting started in martial arts and like what you should be looking for, like in a school, in sparring, what you should do when you first start sparring. And something that I mentioned that I wanted to bring up is like when you first start sparring, you're gonna suck, you know?
Yeah.
And
For sure.
don't let that discourage you in continuing. Like, cause hold on to that one thing that you did correctly and do that again. Like some of my old coach used to tell me is like, if it works, keep doing it until it doesn't
Right.
work anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
if
like
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
if all you got is one strike, like I was telling them, like the one strike I could land from the jump was my teep, my front kick. And that's all I could do. Like my hands weren't that great, you know, like I was okay. You know, I wasn't the worst. You know, I'd fought a little bit before, like me and my brothers, you know, we'd put on the gloves and spar and all that, but like nowhere compared to someone that had trained. But I could land that kick and I just like held on to that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to land that kick. Like find one thing that you can do and get good at that, you know, because if you look at everybody above you that's better than you, you're going to get discouraged. But like look at that as inspirational rather than detrimental, and let that take your passion away, you know, because I see so many people, they come in and they spar and you never see them again because they leave
Right.
and they think, man,
Right. They're degraded.
Like, Yeah.
You know, I got
suck.
beat up. I mean, I
Mentally
felt I
defeated.
felt that way my first time. I remember the thing that made me get better, honestly, keep it 100% with you, was because when I started sparring for the first time, I got caught with 3 clean, and when I say clean, 3 clean jabs right to the face.
3.
Three legit clean jabs. I got caught with one, and in my head, I'm like, oh shoot, I just got caught. Let's not let that happen again. Before the thought even came out, I got hit with the second one.
mm-hmm.
After I got hit with the second one, I'm like, you just let it happen. And before I even finished that, the third one came.
Yeah.
And so I was mentally fucked for the rest of the night.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like for the rest of the night. So I was talking to Jamal.
Because you have to face your weakness,
Right.
like as a person, yeah, and that sucks.
Right. I was talking to Jamal. And as I'm talking to him, I'm like, he's looking at me. He's like, yo, what's the matter? And I'm like, he was like, you looking down. And I'm like, bro, this dude called me with 3 clean jabs. He was like, bro, you did a good job today. I'm like, nah. I was like, yo, them jabs, I can see them.
See, that's the other thing too. Is like, it's not just what happened in that moment. It's the whole round. Like, yeah, you may have got caught, but you did other things in that round that you did good as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just so fixated on, damn, I just got hit. Damn, he just got off of me. Oh, he just did a combo on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's other things you did right in that round too. You know what I'm saying? We all just fixated on this one thing.
Right. The one thing
we don't look at our highlights, you know, we look at our bloopers.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing Jamal said to me that stuck with me and in my opinion made me better was he says, well, okay, yeah, he caught you with 3 jabs. I bet you it won't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right.
Yeah.
Because ever since then, like, it was like, nah, I got to get everything on point. Head movement got to be on point. Footwork got to be on point. Got to make sure my guard is right. Like,
that's how you learn, man.
Right.
I think just in general, because, and this doesn't apply to just men, but because combat sports in general is overwhelmingly male, especially in terms of competitive sparring, like it is, you know, it's something that appeals to mostly men. And as men, we're very uncomfortable being vulnerable, right? Emotionally, physically, whatever. And when you first start sparring and you go up against someone better than you, and you realize and you look around into this whole gym of people and you're like, damn, probably 80% of the people in here could beat my ass.
Right.
You know, and that makes you feel vulnerable and it's uncomfortable, but it makes you stronger as a person because you can look back on that later. Like now I look back at how I was when I first started and I'm like, damn, like I could fuck that dude up like myself, you know, like I could, like I'm so much better now. Like I like looking at old footage sometimes to just be like, damn, like the days that I feel like I suck, I'm still 10 times better than I was when I started. And I think it's fun sometimes to spar when you spar with someone new, when you've only been sparring with guys who have been improving with you, you know, because like when you're in class, you're like, I'm getting better. And you don't realize like your teammates are also getting better at that same rate. Right. So when you spar with the same people all the time, you're like, damn, am I getting better?
Right.
Like, you are. Everyone's getting better, you know? And then you spar with someone new and you're like, damn, I am getting better.
Right.
You know?
And then when you outclass them, it's like, wow.
Like that first round where you really feel like, fuck, like I'm good now, you know? Like
the thing that got me with that was when I first started to realize I was getting hit way less.
Mm-hmm.
So people were throwing punches and I'm like, that didn't touch me. Well, that didn't touch me.
Yeah.
That didn't touch me. And it started to make me realize, okay, I'm getting this head movement thing down packed. I'm starting to get this head movement thing. And the funny thing about it though is, and I kind of want to segue into something, so you notice that as fighters get older, some of their skills start to deteriorate a bit.
Okay.
When is it the time to say, all right, I got to hang it up?
I think in terms of a hobby, never. Like there's a certain point in which your body can't do the things that you want it to do anymore.
Right.
But like, I think, man, I'll never stop training. You know what I mean? Like, unless I physically training, can't. But in terms of fighting,
as a
sparring,
person, yeah, the person who's fighting, or even like you said, sparring, like.
Okay, when you say, you mean like competitive wise, right?
Yeah, like basically competitive, or even if you do like heavy sparring on a regular basis. Like, for example, even though Sifu Jeff is a professional and he fights professionally, he spends 90% of his time sparring. Just
around the world.
Yeah, around the world, sparring. When does that become something that's like, okay, I can coach it now, but I don't need to be doing that?
I feel like that just depends because we all know our own body. So we only know our own body.
Right.
I can't tell you can't do it because you may feel like you still can.
Right.
I mean, I feel like when it comes a day where a certain movement just doesn't feel right no more, not even because you just didn't stretch, then I feel like, okay, maybe it's time to slow down. But doesn't mean you have to stop. You can just go lighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
There's still athletes to this day that's old, past their prime, and they're still going. Like, Mayweather's one. Right?
Yeah.
We just seen Clay Guida last night, right?
Yeah. Clay.
There's Stephen Thompson.
Clay Guida, Stephen Thompson.
You know what I mean? So there's still fighters out there that's still doing this, but there's going to come a certain time where they feel like their body is just too, they can't handle it like they used to. They can't regenerate as fast as they used to. You know what I mean? When I mean regenerate, I mean like heal as they used to, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't think they should stop training. I mean, you can always do that forever, you know? I mean, until your body just can't no more. But in terms of competing, there has to be a time limit because that's damage. Unnecessary damage at that. You're going to get somebody that's young and hungry that wants to take your head off, no matter who you are.
Yep.
Even if they're a fan of yours, they still want that W at the end of the day, you know?
There's always someone training to come up on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always someone coming behind you. Like there's some 15-year-old kid right now in a gym just starting who's going to be a killer, you know, in 4 years. Like there's always somebody new. And that's why you see a lot of fighters transition into coaching. It's like, all right, I can't do this anymore, but I know how to teach it. Like I'm an old dog at this point and I can teach my tricks to someone coming up. And that's why the level of the entire sport has only risen. You know, guys are better now. Like when people talk about, the old school guys were better in boxing, whatever sport, that's not true. Like it's really not. Like there's something to be said for, you know, maybe the refs were a little slower to stoppages. Like there's not as much emphasis on just physical toughness and grit. But technically, guys now are way better than they ever have been because every fighter gives their skills and their legacy to the next generation.
That's the evolution.
Yeah,
that's the evolution of a fighter. You know.
Yeah.
You think about like for example, in boxing, one of my favorite boxers of all time is Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like for me, I feel like boxers got better because they watched somebody who's a heavyweight move like a welterweight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Compared to just, you know, like just standing flat footed and
without
slugging
Ali,
it out.
there's no Tyson Fury.
I can agree to that. I can agree to that. I do feel like, but it just depends who we're talking about. Like, because there's an argument saying that the fighters today are way better than the fighters back then because look at the workout regimens. Look at the workouts we're doing. Look at the training we're doing.
It's down to a science.
You know what I mean? Like it goes to what works. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of fighters move very well. Like it's only I feel like it's only a hand pick of fighters. Like you can say like back then that moved like really, really, really well. Like and not just a stationary fridge. You know what I mean?
Like I mean, even people like I watched Joe Louis fight, and though Joe Louis had hands, he didn't have the greatest footwork from what I've seen.
Just very clean technique.
Yeah, very clean technique.
Yeah, footwork
so
wise.
He to me was an example of, you know what? I was working the pads and it's working. I'm gonna just keep using this technique because it's working. Whereas with Ali, he didn't even, from what I've seen, it didn't look like he would throw hard power punches. He would slap you with punches.
Yeah, it's the shots you don't see coming. Right. You know, it's like he hits you in ways that you don't think he can hit you. You know, it's not like, because there's like sluggers, guys who will just be in your face hitting you with everything, but you know it's coming. You know what's happening. That's like Mike Chandler. You know what I'm saying? You know he's going to try to hit you with that power right hand. And that in that fight with Dustin Poirier, he knew it was coming, and that's why he was able to deflect it. But then a guy who can hit you with a sneak shot that you don't see coming, like Wonderboy Thompson, you know, like when he, you know, question mark kicks you over your lead shoulder, like that.
I gotta talk a little bit of trash. Not trash, but I gotta.
Let's hear it.
So even though I said Michael Chandler is entertaining, even though I switched him out, he is entertaining. He's very entertaining.
Okay.
But he drives me crazy.
Why?
For two reasons. Well, one of those reasons is not really a negative one. One problem I have with Michael Chandler is that he puts every ounce of his energy, everything he has, into that first round.
Okay.
And I'm like, as seasoned of a fighter as you are a world champ. You were like, I think a 2-time world champ in Bellator.
Yeah.
You know, you have legit skills. You have knockout power. You know how to fight. Why does it seem like, you know, as soon as you get in the cage, the game plan is out the window, and I'm just gonna kick and straight blast kicks. I'm just gonna throw everything I got into a punch. Like, I just don't understand that about him.
I think it just works up until a certain level, right? Like,
I agree.
It worked on everybody. Like, it worked when he came into the UFC. Like, it worked on Dan Hooker. You know what I'm saying?
It did.
It worked on Tony Ferguson. Like, it worked on.
But Tony's
not the same Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, this is not the same Tony, bro.
You know, he like
I
throwing
like Tony
everything into that one shot worked.
Yeah, Tony is.
He's a different breed.
He's definitely a different type of dude, bro.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson. I'm not hating, but Tony Ferguson is different.
Once you get to the level of a guy like Dustin Poirier, you know, who's a crafty veteran, like he's been hit by strong guys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He knows how to get hit by strong guys. Like he's been hit with some of the strongest hands in the sport. You know, Conor McGregor, probably the best left hand ever in MMA.
Most likely, yeah.
And he's been hit clean with it. And so he knows how to take that. So like the guys at the lower levels, like they'll get overwhelmed by a guy with the pressure and the aggression and the power of Mike Chandler. Once you get to that top level, it's like they've seen it before, and it just ceases to work, but only against, I think where our perspective is skewed because we've only seen him fight the very best in the world, right?
That is true.
But against 99% of fighters, Mike Chandler crushes him. It's just against those guys. Like, I mean, he could have beat Charles Oliveira too.
Yeah, because he almost had him out of there.
He almost had him. He almost had Dustin Poirier. He almost has everybody. He fucking rocked Justin Gaethje multiple times. Like he's always this close. It's just there's that extra 1% that the best in the world have that will eventually defeat him. Because he is kind of a one-trick pony, just in terms of what he's gonna do. He's gonna come at you with everything. But if you can survive it, it's just that most people won't survive it. But
okay.
That's what makes the best the best.
I feel like it just goes down because each fighter is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes by size, physique, style. Like Chandler is like the smallest of them all. Like he's like 5'6", 5'5".
Him and Gaethje.
And he's going against people like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
Like he's smaller than them, so he has no choice but to be the explosive fighter.
He has to be in your face.
So like the explosive pressure fighter. So he has to be all up in your face because not a lot of people can handle the pressure. You know what I mean? A lot of things coming at you at once. So he burns all his energy just trying to do that. And then you see he slows down and gets teed off on later in the rounds because he has some more energy to burst and put the pressure on. Now he's on his back foot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not going to call him trash because...
Not trash. I don't think he's trash.
I just think...
Definitely not.
I just think if he was bigger, in terms of height, it'd probably be a different story. But because he's that small... He has to be explosive. He has to just come out the gate firing. You know what I'm saying? Because he has the power to knock you out within, a couple seconds, But when you come against a fighter that knows how to manage distance and keep you away at bay with a jab and, kicks, it's not going to be as easy as you think it was, you know? So, I don't know.
Right. Because as a fighter, I look at, like Chandler, like as far as his style, I feel like he is a combination. Like if two fighters had like a fighter baby, like... To me, it's like Patricio Pitbull and Henry Cejudo would have Michael Chandler.
I think that's a pretty apt comparison.
Chandler?
Like
Henry Cejudo?
Like I feel like he has
the way
the way he moves.
He's very
like I feel like Patricio Pitbull and Michael and Henry Cejudo had a baby and it was a fighter. It'd be Michael Chandler. No,
I can't do it.
Why not?
I see where you're comparing them though, in the way Henry Cejudo, like their stance is similar in the way he moves in and out, the way Henry Cejudo is constantly pressuring. Now the way they finish fights is different.
This is true.
I do see the way they move is similar. What I would compare him to is, I don't know if you guys know John Lineker.
Yes.
He's a bantamweight.
He is a firecracker.
He used to be in the UFC.
Boys to bed.
He fights in one championship now, and he is
he's in one championship?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Dude, he slept Bibiano Fernandez like, I want to say 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
But
shouts to John Lineker.
He's very short. I think he's 5'3".
He's
fights at bantamweight, which is now in one championship featherweight because they go up 10 pounds and don't cut weight, quote unquote. We'll ask Jeff about that.
Yeah.
But he's just in your face constantly because he has to be, like coming back to what you were saying, like that's the only way he really can fight at that division. Because if he stays out on the edge, he'll get picked apart. Like he knows what he has to do. It falls short sometimes because it is a bit of a simplistic game plan against the top guys, but he knows what works for him and he does it. It's just there's another level up there. I'd love to see him fight Conor, man. I think that would be.
I'm going to be honest.
A beautiful fight.
My one MMA combat sports wish is that like Bellator one championship and UFC would put on like a big.
Don't forget Ryzen, the Japanese one.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I like dying.
A big cross promotion.
Oh my God!
Like a tournament of
First
some
of all,
kind.
that would make billions of dollars. I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not.
It's not that. It's not that. It's just like when you talk about like different fighting corporations, like UFC kind of tops them all in a little bit because they're more well-rounded. So it depends on
depth.
Well, you know what? But this is the thing. Like for example, one championship. The one thing I like about One Championship is they have different styles of fighting.
Strikers.
Yeah, that's why I like One Championship, because they're just about striking. It's about striking. And I do think a lot of the fighters on their roster would just outstrike a lot of people in UFC.
I agree.
In my humble opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But because UFC is more about a well-rounded sport, meaning you have to have some type of grappling and some type of ground game. You see where fighters mess up at thinking they're just going to strike all day, and you run to a wrestler.
Well, I mean, I think, but UFC should be able to convert. I mean, they have the slap championship shit
I don't
now.
know what that is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If
That's
you can
the
put that in there,
dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
So if you can put that in there, why can't there be Muay Thai with MMA gloves? Why can't there be?
I think that the reason we see a lot of strikers in One Championship and a lot of grapplers in the UFC, One Championship being based in Asia, obviously Muay Thai is huge. Kickboxing is huge in Asia. Kickboxing is almost non-existent in the US. Like just straight. Like when's the last time you watched a kickboxing event?
It was big in the early 90s.
In the 90s, yes.
Yeah, the late 80s, early 90s. It was like, watching Don the Dragon Wilson. What's this dude's name? Benny the Jet. Like these guys were amazing.
Andy Hoog.
Yeah, these guys were amazing.
Overeem, Crow Cop, But like kickboxing has kind of died in the US, but it's big in Europe and it's big in Asia. Like Japanese kickboxing is if you haven't watched Japanese kickboxing, go watch it because it's crazy. Like the Kyokushin karate guys.
Those guys
killers.
are different.
Killers.
Michael Jai White is a black belt in Kyokushin.
See, but that's interesting though. Why did it die out though? Why did it lose interest when sports is high?
I think boxing and MMA got really big in the US. And I think the reason MMA got bigger in the US than kickboxing is because the US and Russia, and the reason why there's so many Russian fighters in the UFC specifically is because they have a big amateur wrestling base. Like in every high school in the US, pretty much, you can take wrestling. And that transitions very well to MMA. Well, in a lot of, out in the Midwest especially.
Hood.
Yeah. You could take slap boxing.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally all it was.
Sign up in the bathroom.
Yep, that was it. That was the ring. The bathroom, maybe a corner in the gym.
Yep.
And for me, that's what kind of sucked about school. So we had sports, football, basketball, track. There was volleyball. There was baseball. Like this, But, I remember when my mom came to me and she goes, wait a minute, you guys don't do this anymore? Like there was no home ec. There was no lab. Like there was lab, but they didn't dissect frogs and all types of stuff. Like, I mean, I think it would be pretty stupid to give, high school students scalpels nowadays. But
true. Making shanks and shit.
Yeah, you feel me? But at the same time, like, there was very few community boxing gyms, and there was a martial arts school here and there, and if it was,
expensive.
It's either extremely expensive or it was, and I'm not trying to disrespect any martial arts schools, but it was schools that were just like you would look inside and be like, I feel like I could beat the teacher up.
They're daycares. A lot of schools in the US are daycares. Which I understand.
He's got a point.
No, I never thought that ever.
And I will say I understand, like, for example, Taekwondo and karate in the US are very kind of neutered because
commercialized.
It's commercialized because parents want something to put their kids into that's not going to give them CTE. Which I get. Like, no parent wants to take their 12-year-old and be like, go to a old school boxing gym and go spar with killers after school, like some parents do, but like, the vast majority of parents like don't want their kids to be hurt, but the ones that do want them to do martial arts, they go towards these commercialized gyms, that aren't going to teach their kids how to really fight. Coming from Shotokan karate, you understand, like it's a different type of system. And then they get this idea of MMA from watching the early days. And they're just like, oh, it's just a slugfest. Like, there's no skill to it, which is ridiculous. I've had multiple people tell me that there's no skill to MMA, and
I've heard
I want to put on the gloves right there, bro.
And that drives me
what are you
insane
talking
because,
about?
But that then it goes to like certain things in MMA.
Oh, I street fight, bro.
Listen,
I know moves that would be deadly. That's why they're banned in the octagon.
First of all,
fuck out of here.
First of all.
Yeah, and that's my bad, not to cut you off, but that's the other thing too, bro. Like when you're actually a fighter, like we can call ourselves because we spar and we actually train all day, every day. You know what I mean? The things we do, you wouldn't want to do that to nobody in the regular street.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's the fear of actually knowing you could actually really hurt somebody.
Yep.
It's like enough to make you want to walk away. Like, okay, guy, you got it, man. I don't want no trouble. And if trouble persists, then go ahead. But like,
it's funny.
I'll tell you a story right now.
Yo, we both got one. Go ahead, go.
So like literally 2 days ago. Okay, so I'm on the train. I'm going with my girlfriend somewhere. We went to Lower Manhattan to get some gifts for Christmas. But so we're on the train, and this dude walks in, and so the seat next to us, we're sitting in like the 3-row seats. I don't know if you've ever been on a New York subway to those, you listening, but they have like sets of 3 seats, sets of 2 seats. We're sitting in a set of 3 seats, right? We're on the right side
with the orange chair and shit.
Oh, so the old boy.
So there's one seat to the left of us that's open, but it has water on it. So when we went to sit down, we avoided that seat. So a dude walks on the train with like a gym bag type of thing, and he goes to sit down on the seat. And I notice that like his pants are sagging. And as someone, I got a skinny butt, my pants be sagging. And if I sit on something that's wet, like my butt's gonna get wet because I only got one layer. You feel me? So I see him getting ready to sit down. I'm like, bro, it's wet. It's wet. So he sits down, he stands right back up, doesn't even look at me, right? And then he turns to me and he starts talking shit. He's like, bet I won't slap the shit out you right now, blah, blah, blah. He starts talking about being a real shooter, like throws his bag on the ground, starts looking at me. And I'm like literally just sitting there. My girl's right next to me. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, all right,
you know, whatever. Yeah, sure. For real.
Right, cool guy.
He goes like, pow, pow, pow. I'm like, what the fuck?
God.
Like, what the fuck are you going to do?
You better than me. You better than me.
I'm just looking at him like,
you're not gonna bow me on
like
them.
I'm literally
just
just
talk to me like that.
I'm literally just looking at him, right? And so he walks up to me and he's like bends down into my face and I stare him in the face.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you special.
Like you're better than me.
I'm staring him right in the fucking eyes. And I can tell this dude's like something's wrong with this guy, right? And then he pulls up his fucking he starts showing me his jewelry, right? And this is the point at which I was like, all right, I'm not gonna sock this dude. So he goes, yeah, this ring's fake, but this bracelet's real. And I was like, that's a nice bracelet. And he was like, thank you, my G. Have a good day. And he walks away.
Oh, nah, he just had issues.
I was like,
I
turned my girl. I was like, I almost just really fucking.
The thing about New York is you can find all different types of NPCs walking around.
You would have legit knocked out a dude with issues.
And he was like my size too, so I knew I could take him. You know, like if it's like a dude twice my size, like there's a question, like he might slam my head into the ground. But this dude was, you know, my size, like, and not big. And yeah, I just turned to my girl. I was like, that could have gone a lot worse. And she was like, yeah. She's like, I'm glad you didn't fucking sock him when he leaned down to you. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't too, because that would have been a whole issue. It just kind of reminded me, like, not everything has to be a fight. You know what I mean? No. Like me just being like, nice bracelet, just diffuse that entire situation. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And like, it's just wild to think like New York is just its own fucking thing of its own. Like you could literally find the things that don't make sense just happen in New York. Like the dumbest of the dumbest shit happens in New York. Like literal bots, NPCs walking around like GTA characters. And it's like based on other people's upbringings, you know, because like I'm from the projects. Like that story right there, I would have socked him. You're not gonna tell me you're gonna shoot me and then lean forward to me like I'm pussy or something. No, you're gonna get it. Now you're asking for it. Like you're in my personal space.
That's a New York thing.
Yeah.
Like
lost me, bud.
Most New Yorkers I know, especially growing up here in this hood in the 80s, you might not even got hit. You might have got shot.
Yeah.
Like legit.
Yeah. But see, I just like because I was really about to sock this dude until he started showing me his jewelry. I'm like, oh, this dude don't want to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he wanted to find someone that he could press. And when he saw me just sitting there, like, and I was literally laughing at him this whole time because he's like talking all this shit. I'm like, I'm just looking at him like, all right, do it then.
Wait.
Like I'm literally just sitting there.
How many
with my
people
arms
were
up
in the
like
cart
this
with you though?
It was like a pretty full train.
So that's why he did it.
So people start looking at me.
If it was just like you and him and maybe one other person on the other side of the train, he probably wouldn't have done all that.
But he wanted it, you know, it's and this is what I was talking to my girl about. I was like it's a good lesson for me that like some people, life has not been kind to this man.
Okay.
Obviously.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wants to exert some type of power in his life, right? So I was trying to help him out by telling him the seat was wet. And he was like, okay, this guy is a nice guy. I can press him. You know what I mean? Like I can finally exert some power in my life by trying. I'm big. Like I can be bigger than this dude, not physically, but you know, I can be bigger than this person at least.
Yeah.
And then I just sat there and laughed at him and just shrugged my shoulders like, what the fuck are you going to do? like just looking at him right in his eyes, like, I'm not scared of you. That's when his whole demeanor changed into, okay, I don't want to fight. You know what I mean? Like, let's just call this fucking quits.
Yeah,
you know?
It always takes somebody to be the bigger person, you know?
And I'm just glad I was the bigger person in that situation. Because, like, you know, who knows? He could have pulled out a fucking knife and stabbed me.
Yeah, that's another possibility.
He could have attacked my girlfriend, bro. Like, you know, that's what I was thinking.
That's where people
as soon as that happened, like, bro,
if this is where people get murdered.
If he put a hand on my girl, I would have killed him.
You know, my thing is too, I feel like because I never really seen anything happen on the subway car. You only see it on the news or a Citizen app. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like as a martial artist, I feel like we are our own personal city's Batmans. Like when something happens, we're there to protect the people.
It's kind of our responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I feel like we training for the moments like that.
But
you know,
when do you jump in and when do you just let it slide? Like,
there was a split second there, you know.
So his situation was a little bit different. He took a second and said, "All right, let me nice bracelet." Dude switched it up. It's like, all right,
caught him off guard.
You know what I mean? Whereas for example, I've had situations on the train. One situation on the train where 3 girls hanging out, having a good time. Dude is half drunk, and he's all up in their grill. And you can obviously see these girls are uncomfortable,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're not really necessarily looking for a rescue to a degree, but at the same time, they're just like, all right, what are we gonna do?
And as a man, like,
step in,
right? So I step over there, and I'm like, bro, just leave the ladies alone, bro. Like, like I had to tell him, like, you're making the ladies uncomfortable, bro.
Right?
And he's looking at me. He starts talking. I'm like, okay, yeah, all that jazz. Bro, you're making the ladies uncomfortable. Just
move along.
Just move along. Now, once again, it's another situation. I knock a drunk guy out.
Does that make you feel better about yourself?
Like, you know,
no, not even.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you feel good, you know? And yes, I defended these young ladies. That's fine. But you're still a drunk guy that I knocked out. And I'm just like,
is he going to learn anything from this? No.
Yeah, he's not. He's drunk. Like, what is he going to learn?
Yeah.
Another situation, you know, and this is the story I was going to mention. I'm at work one day. It's a slow day, so I'm just chilling. I'm having my lunch, chilling. I see these 2 young, I'm talking about teens, like maybe 17, the oldest. These 2 are like going at it, like screaming at each other, going crazy.
Okay.
So
we say teens, 2 same gender or?
No, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
Boyfriend and girlfriend. It's a couple.
Cool.
And so they're arguing, going crazy. She's trying to like ignore him, get away, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. He's over here, you know, like they're just going at it to the point where she's like, get out of my way, like pushing him, get out of my way, push him, get out of my way, get out of my way.
It's becoming physical.
It's becoming physical.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't like it, but it's like, it's not your fucking business. Mind your business.
That's New York.
You know, like, so I'm like, all right, I'm chilling. Out of nowhere, when she's trying to get by, I see this boy, like, it looked like one of the slap championship slaps.
Oh, no.
He slapped her soul out of her. Slapped the crap out of this girl. So I'm like,
oh, man, that's why back out the cape, the mask.
Yeah, I'm like, now, mind you, there's cops like I know there's cops right around the corner.
Okay.
I don't want to end up beating up a little boy. Cops come around the corner, they see me beating up on some dude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
okay,
I didn't like run up on him like, yo, fuck is wrong with you?
I would have.
That's what I wanted to do. But this is around a time where, you know, a lot of like we were hearing back-to-back things about cops just taking black people out. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want them to get confused and shoot me or do any wild stuff because it's been going on like back-to-back. I'm seeing it on the news like every other day. Another black person shot, another black person getting beat up and all the rest of it. So I was like, you know what? So I walk on, I'm like, yo, bro, listen. It's none of my business.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to be in your business. But I said, listen, I'm just telling you, there are cops right around the corner. If they see you, I understand you guys are tussling, you having an argument, but if they see you hit this girl, they are going to stomp you out and they're going to arrest you. You need to chill.
Did you enlighten him like that's not the move at all? Ever put your hand on the female?
Yeah, I was trying to explain to him like, yo, I said, that's one. I said, 2, this is a woman. Like, It's a woman, bro.
Sometimes it takes something like that to snap somebody out of it.
Now, this is the thing. This kid didn't snap out of it. This kid, look, he's looking at me. He's like this, and he goes, "Yo, I don't know who the fuck you are." Starts taking off his coat. I'm like,
Yo.
and I'm in my head. I'm like,
Oh, he wants to go.
I'm going to hurt this little boy. He's a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little boy. Like, compared to me, you're a little boy. I was like, he's skinnier than me and you, bro. Like, I'd pick you up and snap you in two. You 17, you 16, 17. First of all, I probably got you by a smooth 25 pounds. I will snap you in two. And in my head, as a martial artist, I'm like, I can't fuck this kid up.
Yeah, and that's one thing they teach us, never violence first, always talk about peace and the way to talk a situation out first. But I feel like, again, he's taking his stuff off like he's trying to insinuate a fight.
Point, that's
you know what I mean? So it's like, what did he do?
You already started the fight.
Yeah. Because I honestly, this is like a sensitive topic for me because like I live in an area where like domestic violence is a thing. When you see like men putting hands on females, I've seen a lot of relationships like that, especially in school, and I don't like that at all because I honestly feel like that's like a sucker move because you're doing it because move, like you're physically
not
stronger
get
than
nothing
her.
back. Yeah,
right. And there's some females that will fight you back.
Yes,
but like only to a certain extent because you have power over them a little bit. So I honestly don't like that at all.
Not
like
me either, man.
And I think I wouldn't be calm in any situation like that. I think I would just be wanting to fight. Period. But it's like it's wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong.
Yeah. It takes them to get an ass whipping to know, like, okay, yeah, this is wrong. I got to ass move for that, And sometimes they don't stop. Sometimes they take it out on them, even worse, So it's like it's a situation you don't know what to do.
I felt like if it got to a certain point, let's just say this kid is a bit strong. Now I gotta try to really fuck you up. We're on concrete. I might slam you on your head. You know what I mean? I might catch you on the jaw, rock your shit, and you fall back and your head slams on the concrete.
Charge just like that.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? You hit your head on something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the possibility.
Right. And then as a person who is much older than this kid, much older, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we could look at cameras and things like that and all that, but people are gonna be like, all right, yeah, you were protecting the girl, but
he's dead, you're alive.
You feel me? Like, and my conscience is like, yo, get out of the way. But if he hits that girl again, I'm teeth kicking him in the stomach. I'm
made your point clear. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, bro, just argue. Don't put your hands on feet. And he's over here still taking off his coat and all that. I'm like,
so what did he do after
So what happened?
So he stood there. It was on some like, the whole
what's up?
Tough guy.
And I'm like,
everybody's a tough guy.
And I just stood there. Like, so I gave him a look like, look, if you're gonna try and hit me, go ahead.
Because people are looking for a fear reaction.
Yeah.
Like, whenever something like that happens, people look for a fear reaction. And if you don't give it to them, they're not going to do shit.
And that's what I'm saying. My thing was, if you really wanted to do that,
you'd have already done it.
You'd have done it. I'm still standing here. And it's almost like you give him like the big brother or like, the father treatment. Like, listen,
you don't want
I don't give a fuck what you want to do, but don't do that shit or I'm gonna whoop your ass.
You probably don't even got to put your hands on him. Just yoke him up.
Yo, bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
stop playing me, boy.
And the thing is, that's the thing that I look at when it comes, and like you said, when you were on the train, that dude could have had a gun, he could have had a knife. You never know. But
when someone's crazy, you don't want to fight them. I'll be honest. Like, because you never know what a crazy person's going to do.
True.
Right? And most people you're going to fight in the street are crazy.
Facts.
Like, at the end of the day, like, so here's a situation where I made what I feel like was the wrong decision, but it was satisfying in the end. So I was working at a convenience store. Shout out Wawa. I was the night manager, right? So I'm behind the counter, and the town I used to work in, the bars would let out at 2. So we'd get a rush of drunk people at 2 a.m. all wanting food. So this guy comes up, and I'd never seen him before. I knew his friends. We had a lot of regulars, right? So he had like 3 friends with him that I kind of knew. We're kind of bullshitting back and forth, right? And I guess this guy was feeling comfortable because he walked up and he said, "Hey, bro, if you don't put enough sauce in my quesadilla, I'm going to choke you out."
What?
So he said that to me, and I said, "You're not going to fucking choke me out. Like, I'm going to make it the way you want it because that's how we fucking do it. But I'm telling you right now, you're not going to fucking choke me out. And I'm going to fuck you up if you step back here." So he keeps going, keeps running his mouth. And this dude's a little drunk, but he's not that drunk. So he keeps running his fucking mouth. So I finished making his food. I set it right there on the counter. I walk around the counter. I say, all right, we gonna find out if you can fucking choke me out. And I have the security camera footage of this somewhere. But I lean over and I look at his friends and I'm like, because I know them, so I know I'm not gonna get jumped at this point. I'm like, all right. So I shook his hand. I'm like, we gonna see. And he's like, oh, are we really doing this? I'm like, yeah, we're really doing this. And I stepped behind his leg and I went to trip him. And his knees hit the ground, but he didn't go all the way down. And he shot for like a double leg takedown. You know, he just tried to grab me. And I just grabbed his neck, fucking tossed his ass to the ground on his back. And I choked him out right in front of all his friends. And he's punching my sides. And as soon as he started punching, I'm like, I know this, he's about to tap. And as soon as he tapped, I just let go and I helped his ass back up. And I said, don't fucking say that shit to anybody. Just because you're bigger than me, you think you can say that shit. Because like, I'm not a big dude. I'm not an intimidating looking dude. And I'm a nice dude, you know? And he was looking for that fear reaction and he didn't get it. And he didn't really want it. But I was just having a bad night. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a point right here. And so I choked his ass out. And then the next night, he came back in with like 3 more friends. They were like, that's the dude? I was like, yeah, I'm the dude. What's up? They're like, oh, yeah, he's probably talking shit. I was like, yeah, he was talking shit. Like, nah, you cool. And like, never had a problem with him after that. You know, like, but in hindsight, like, did choking out a drunk guy, like, was that a good decision? Probably not. You know, I could have gotten jumped. Like, if I didn't have that comfortability with his friends, like, I could have gotten jumped at my own fucking job in front of my employees, you know? Yeah. But like, I don't know. The point of that is basically like everyone's got kind of a breaking point. And when he kept talking shit, I was like, man, I'm
over this.
Like, I'm over this shit, bro. Yeah. I'm not just gonna let you stand here and keep talking shit to me in front of my employees. You know what I'm saying? Because now I know that like
my employees,
me being in charge,
I'm the boss, baby. What you talking about? You not gonna talk like, trash?
So his friends were dragging him out afterwards. He's like, I'm gonna get you fired. I'm gonna call your boss. I'm like, tell him. And I told my boss when he came in the morning, I'm like, hey, just so you know, I choked a dude out last night. He was like, oh, did you really? I was like, yeah. He was like, all right, we don't got to talk about it. I was like, yeah. That was it, you know? But I don't know, man. Like, I just knew that in front of my people, because that was something I always did, like, because I worked with a lot of women, and when dudes would come in drunk, you know what I'm saying? Like, they would try to get fucking disrespectful with the women. And I knew that if I didn't show right there that like, and I would always check them for that as well. Like, I kicked multiple people out. I was like, if I don't check this dude here, like, they won't know that I really mean what I'm saying. You know, like, right. Then when I stand up for my employees, they know, like, I got your fucking back for real.
Right.
Like I will fucking step out here and choke a dude out on the floor of this fucking Wawa if they get fucking too disrespectful with you. So
shout out to the Wawa quesadillas.
Shout out to Wawa, bro.
Fire.
That quesadilla was good too. I know he fucking enjoyed that.
He got his ass whipped and went home and enjoyed a quesadilla.
Ass whooping in a hot meal.
Bro, his friends were as his friends were dragging him out, because I literally, like, I had his neck like this, like his chin into his chest and my like guillotine choke like across his fucking throat.
It's a wrap.
And so he got up and he was embarrassed. And then he was like, man, I didn't know that. Can we throw hands? I was like, you were throwing hands. And it didn't help you. He was like, let's go again. Let's go again. And his friends dragged him out. He's like, bro, we don't.
He's like, he was throwing hands. He was going to sleep at the same time.
His friends dragged him out, just like, you don't want that again. You don't want that again. They were like, just shut up. Let's go. I was like, yeah, you can come back. I don't give a shit. And he did come back and he didn't fucking say shit to me. You know, so I don't know. Sometimes a point got to be made, but it's like every situation is different. Like in that, I knew it was a drunk dude talking shit who wanted a reaction. And I did give it to him. But I think he learned a lesson. Yeah. I think the crazy dude in the subway wouldn't have learned shit because he's crazy, you know? And it's like, if he'd have leaned up on my girl, you know what I mean? Like that would have been different. But at the end of the day, I could tell that he wasn't serious. He just wanted to exert some type of power, you know?
We're going to call you the blonde avatar from now on.
Yeah, for real, bro.
When the world needed him most.
Well, that might have to be your name, bro.
Blonde avatar.
The blonde avatar.
That's how I'll announce myself on the next podcast.
There we go.
On
that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring this to a close. There was some really dope content tonight, but if we're going to leave you with anything, just be careful who the people you pick a fight with, because you never know. It might be one of us.
Maybe me.
You don't want to, listen, I've sparred with that man. You don't want to spar with that man. I'm telling you, it was like today. It was like watching a fucking video game, bro. Like legit watching a video game. So unless you want to get your ass kicked, like niggas get their ass kicked, excuse my language, in video games, just keep it moving, bro.
And the thing you learn when you do martial arts, just to add on to that, is how many people in the world that don't look like they can fight.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You know?
For sure. You think you're going to take on a nerd and he just busts out them rear legs and the uppercuts. Now you're like, you can talk about this, bud. I was just joking.
In general, like you'll never get into a fight with someone who actually trains because they know that they don't want to get into a fight with someone that actually trains. You know what I mean? Like you start looking at people different once you've worked with enough people. You start looking at people different. You start giving people, I think, a little bit more respect.
Absolutely.
In the same time, you have more confidence in yourself, but you also respect other people in the sense that I've seen some people who I didn't think could do shit, do some crazy things.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
It makes you a better person.
About that confidence thing, that's for sure. You got confidence because you know you have the skills to fight back, but you don't want to just hurt nobody, especially somebody that can't fight. That doesn't feel good at all.
Because there's people that don't have confidence that want to fight. I feel like they want to prove something.
Yeah.
Like we prove it in the gym every day.
It's always them.
You know?
Yep.
It's always them. They want to prove something all the time. That's them.
Like we prove it, bro. We prove it every day that we go in there and train.
Yep.
We prove it. We prove it
you
with
wake
people
up
who actually know what they're doing. You know? You don't feel the need to go fight somebody in the street. Even though sometimes it is necessary, you know? But that's all I got.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the first Talk About Fight Club podcast.
We have talked about Fight Club.
We have talked about Fight Club, and we have a lot more Fight Club to talk about. So we will be getting to you guys soon, and we are out of here. Deuces!